this week or last week, I'm not entirely sure, but the jury came to a verdict, and it's both good and bad. That's the honest truth. And as much as people are saying he's not guilty, but he could still be guilty. It's like Phil is kind of in limbo right now in terms of not knowing exactly what is going to happen with his life. Why do I say that? It's because the verdict does not make him not guilty. I don't know if I'm making sense. So the verdict goes like this: convicted on 2 assault charges relating to biting that caused injuries, and I'll explain that in a few. And then he was acquitted for 3 counts of sexual penetration without consent, 1 assault charge, and 1 choking strangulation charge. The jury could not reach a verdict on the remaining 3 sexual penetration without consent charges, meaning that prosecutors are considering whether to seek a retrial on those counts of the 3 sexual penetration without consent charges. So he is acquitted on 3 counts of sexual penetration without consent, and there's still 3 pending. Now, the 3 that are pending because according to RAIN, which is the rape, assault, intercourse, something like that. Okay, I'll put them up. According to them, consent is something that is ongoing. What I mean by that is that every single stage of a sexual activity requires consent. And that's what made these 3 charges pretty tricky for the jury to come to a conclusion to. Because it means that just because she said yes to kissing, doesn't mean she said yes to you touching her. Just because she said yes to you touching her, doesn't mean she said yes to you penetrating her. And even if she said yes to you penetrating her, doesn't mean she said yes to you giving her life bites. Doesn't mean she said yes to you spanking her. So according to Ray, consent means it's an ongoing communication thing. So with those 3 verdicts that they failed to come to a conclusion to is because she could have said yes to the penetration, but said no when she started feeling as though things were getting out of hand. Because, not to be too explicit, but during the whole sexual encounter thing with Phil and this young girl, apparently she was 20 at that time, Phil started getting very physical with her and started biting her. And pictures were shown in court of Phil biting her, and then he was saying that no, he was giving her love bites, and so on and so forth. And then it got to a point where Phil was getting physical with her and hitting her, and obviously choking her and strangling her. This is, to be quite honest, from my point of view, it's very, 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 and I guess it's a very aggressive way of having intercourse. Biting is pretty aggressive. I don't know how that comes about. I don't even know how do you start with biting someone. I can understand choking. For some women, it's a fantasy, but to a point where she can't breathe and you still continue, that does call for concern. In my books, that calls for concern. But it's very, very hard that in the middle of sexual activities that you need to stop, request for consent to do something else, and only if she says yes, then do you go ahead and do it. It's very, very hard. And I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very hard. Because once you're in it, you're in it. Usually once you get sexual, you usually let the moment go with it. And only when something is done that other person doesn't want, that is now brought up and say, okay, no, I'm not comfortable with that. But until then, we're flowing. We're going. We're having a good time. And I think that's why they're struggling with getting to the verdict on those 3 counts. And also, like I said, with him being acquitted on the assault was because he claimed to have been giving her love bites. and not biting her, as she said. Now, like I said, I've been watching a lot of videos, gathering information, because I like researching before just coming up here and speaking on any topic. The process of how this thing got to it got is pretty interesting. And that is why I said that as a man, the woman we bring into our lives can either break us or build us.